When I returned later at my usual time, Pia met me at the door in a short nightie and kissed me passionately. "Ron, I missed you so much," Pia said, batting her eyelashes. "We'll go to the bedroom immediately." She turned towards me and wiggled her tight ass. I had to suppress my laughter. These conversations coming from Pia were more than funny. "Well, I don't know," I played along. "I am very tired." Pia was unstoppable. "Oh, Ron, we're going. You've been wanting to get involved with me for a long time now." Now it was my turn to be surprised. Pia wanted me to have sex with her? "Are you sure about this?" I asked her. Pia's eyes flashed with fear for a moment, but she continued her chatter. "Oh yes, Ron, I'm all yours." I pulled Pia onto my lap and kissed her face. "Okay, Pia," I said. "But no pun intended, we'll do it my way. First of all, no more fake talk. I want my wife back." I picked Pia up. She weighed less than 100 pounds when she was wet. He carried her up the stairs and set her down in the bedroom. "Pia, just put on a robe, nothing else. Then meet me in the bathroom in the hall." Pia started to speak, but I interrupted her. "No questions, Pia. Just do it." When Pia entered the bathroom, I was having a warm bath with scented beads. "Oh, Ron," Pia cooed as she sank into the water. "It's nice." "Okay, Pia," I said, turning to leave. "Stay there and soak until I get back." I returned 25 minutes later. Pia was so relaxed she was almost like jelly when I pulled her out of the bath and wrapped her in a large towel. I carried Pia into the bedroom and laid her on the bed. Pia looked around the room. It was lit by burning candles scattered around the room. I used a bunch of thick candles that we had stored for use during power outages. Quiet music was playing from the stereo system. He took off his boxers, climbed onto the bed, and kissed Pia on the lips, stroking her breasts. I moved down her body, kissing every inch with my mouth. Pia made soothing sounds, but when I moved below her chest, Pia opened her eyes. "Ron, no, not there." Pia ran her hands through my hair. "Shh, Pia," I assured her. "Don't worry. Trust me." Pia's body tensed for a moment, then relaxed. She nodded her head and lay down on her back. Not for the first time, I fell asleep with a smile on my face. Life was going well. Pia hurried to the mailbox every day, looking for news of her mother and sister's request for immigration services. As far as I know, Pia still wrote and received letters from the fisherman Mr. Wonderful. This bothered me, but I decided that he only received paper letters from Pia once every few weeks, while I had Pia in real life every day, for now. Overall, I believed that at this point, I had the better side of the deal. After about 18 months, a letter arrived from the Immigration Service. Pia's mother and sister received permission to move to the United States. It is high time, I thought to myself. The immigration office required a blizzard of paperwork, even more than when Pia and I got married. There was always another form, document, or record that needed to be submitted, executed, or completed, and of course, always in triplicate. The treaty that ended World War II was contained on a single piece of paper. Why does the government feel the need to cut down trees in Washington state, requiring mountains of paper? After reading the message from the Immigration and Naturalization Service, I thought for a split second about destroying the letter, but just as quickly discarded the thought. Pia was always up front about everything and did her best to keep her side of the agreement. Besides, it would only delay the inevitable. We did a good job, but damn, how am I going to miss Pia? I decided that I would give her the correspondence this evening. Unfortunately, this evening, I was faced with the unpleasant task of courting one of our benefactors. This client was a classic, spoiled rich kid. Dropped out of several universities, he failed in all responsible positions in his father's companies. This man was assigned to oversee his father's charitable contributions, a position in which he could not harm the old family business. Our city had many world-class historical attractions, wonderful restaurants, and other delights. And yet this spoiled brat wanted to go to strip clubs. I never understood why strip clubs were so attractive. What a delight it is to be teased by crowds of attractive women that you will never have. It was like going to a restaurant, ordering food but not eating. What's the point? However, he was a client, and I found myself sitting in a private booth for 3 hours with some big-breasted blonde named Bambi, Lexus, or Bunny. He drank a lot, and I drank ginger ale. "What are you guys doing?" Bambi said, throwing back her top and shaking her tits, looking into the rich kid's face. "Oh, baby, work those things," he said. "We are philanthropists." Seeing the confused expression on her face, he added, "You know, we help poor people, less fortunate ones, making the world a better place." Laughing, he buried his face in her chest. "You mean starving children in Africa?" asked Bambi. She moved closer to me, rubbing her ass as he pushed the dollars into her crotch. "Something like that," I muttered, pushing her away and standing up. Bambi was already squirming in his lap when she answered, "I could never understand this whole problem. If all these people are starving in Africa, why don't they just move to France or somewhere else?" He laughed and spilled his drink on me. I took a break to get myself in order. Leaving the booth, I walked up to one of the bouncers made from tree trunks. "Hey, guy," I said, holding out a $50 bill. "Make sure that me and my companion are expelled from here as soon as possible." The bouncer looked at the money in my hand. "Sir, I do not have sufficient grounds to remove you gentlemen from the club premises." I added another $50 bill. "I would also expect a light blow to my companion for this favor," I asked as the bouncer removed the money. We were quickly kicked out and ended up lying in a heap in the alley behind the club after being thrown out the back door like homeless people. I was dirty, but unharmed. My companion laughed loudly. "Ron, damn it," he said, standing up. "I haven't had this much fun since New Orleans." "You're my type of guy. How much money do you need for this show, buddy?" I chuckled and helped him up. "Come with me. I have papers in the car that you can sign right now." Entering the door, I found that Pia was waiting for me. When Pia kissed me on the cheek, I saw that she wrinkled her nose. I reeked of booze and cheap perfume. "Ron, why do you smell like a brothel?" said Pia. "Pia, I had to take a client to some stupid striptease. Dumbass spilled his drink on me." Pia looked at me warily. "You don't hang out with nasty ladies?" "Of course not, Pia," I answered, starting to walk towards the steps. I could tell Pia was doubtful. "Ron, if you don't hang out with indecent ladies, then we'll have sex right now." "You have to let me give you pleasure," Pia exclaimed, pulling me onto the sofa and then began to undo my belt and zipper. I pushed her hands away, laughing as I did so. "Wait, I have something for you." I took the INS letter out of my jacket pocket. Pia could not tear herself away from her attempts to remove my trousers. I gave in when Pia pulled my panties down. "Okay, Pia, you win. I think you can wait to see the letter about your sister and mother from immigration later." I waved the letter in front of her face. Pia froze for a second, then snatched the letter from my hands and jumped up from the couch, scanning the immigration letter. "Ron, this is good news. Mom and sister can come to America." Pia clapped her hands. "I'll call my mom right away. We'll get ready." The phone call to Pia's mother took several hours. Operators, country codes, city codes, international lines, and waiting. It was a more complex operation than launching the space shuttle. I was still sitting on the couch. My pants were halfway down. "Hey, Pia," I called, pointing to my bare penis. "What about our pleasure? What about your crazy desire for me?" Pia did not pay any attention to this and galloped up the stairs. "Ron, you are big and strong. I have a lot to do right now. We'll have fun later today." With these words, Pia disappeared into our bedroom. It was nice to see Pia so happy. Trying not to laugh, I pulled on my pants and stood up from the couch. While Pia handled the logistics and filled out the countless forms and paperwork needed for the final steps to bring her mother and sister to America, I asked my lawyer to bring up our divorce papers. I was wondering if Pia was checking out apartments all over the city to move into after our divorce. I didn't know how much time was left before she left, so I didn't ask. In the days leading up to the arrival of her mother and sister, Pia was like a whirlwind. I don't think she slept at all. The house was washed from top to bottom. It was cleaner than a surgical operating room. Pia prepared a huge amount of their favorite food. I teased Pia that if more than one of her mother or sisters came, it would be due to the amount of food that was stocked in our refrigerator. The day finally arrived, and we met Pia's mother and sister at the airport. I've seen their photographs, but in real life, they were completely different. Pia's mom was an older version of Pia. Mom spoke good English and was quiet but firm. Sister Pia had an unpronounceable name and asked to be called Lucy. There is no doubt that Pia and Lucy were related. However, while Pia was beautiful, Lucy was taller, like a larger version of an Asian doll that would take your breath away. Lucy had the kind of appearance that made men stop and stare when she walked past. What surprised me the most was when Lucy first spoke. "Hey Ron, nice to meet you," Lucy said in a slight West Texas accent. It appears that Lucy and her friend grew up watching bootleg VHS tapes of old American TV shows. Lucy's favorites were Dallas and Dynasty. She and her friends spent hours in front of the mirror and with each other after each episode, practicing speaking like the characters in those series. Lucy watched all the seasons and knew every actor. Lucy studied their speech with monastic devotion. The voice of Alexis Carrington from Dynasty coming out of Lucy's mouth was so stunning that I was speechless. Lucy looked at me with slight panic in her eyes. "Ron, darling, are you okay? Am I saying that wrong?" "No, Lucy," I stuttered. "You said just fine, it's me." "Forget it. I'm very glad to meet you too. I was lucky that Pia intervened and saved me. Ron, shut your mouth, you catch flies, put your luggage in the car. We are coming home." While I packed their things into the car, Pia, Lucy, and her mother chatted in their native language. Mom and Lucy quickly got used to it. Then I received a second pleasant surprise. Mom took over the cooking. Mom was a wonderful cook. I swear that old lady could make a brick taste like filet steak. Mom's cleaning puzzled Pia. I can't tell you how amazed I was when I one day saw my old sneakers polished and looking as good as the day I bought them. I dreaded the day when I would have to return to life before Pia. 2 weeks later, we all ate another one of Mom's outstanding dinners together. However, the atmosphere was tense. I thought they were waiting for me to tell them about the move. I decided to bring this issue to the public so we can put an end to it. "Pia, Lucy, Mom," I began. "I know you have something to tell me, so just start." I turned to Pia. "Pia, we both knew this day would come. I have divorce papers at the lawyer's office. Just give me a date and I'll serve them. You no longer need to put your life on hold. Pia, you can go home to Mr. Wonderful, your fisherman, whenever you want." At the words divorce and fisherman, I saw Lucy and her mother exchange glances and purse their mouths. There was a short burst of conversation between them in their native language before Pia finally spoke to me. "Ron," Pia began, "I need a favor from you again." Pia's sister Lucy interrupted. "Pia, please let me. Look, Ron, darling, it's me who needs a favor, not Pia." Lucy put down her napkin. "You see, Ron, I need to live in this place for 6 months to pass my diploma exams. Just think, maybe you'll agree to put up with this little me for so long." It brought me back. I looked at Pia. "Pia, what about you? Do you want this? Do you want me to delay filing for divorce?" Pia looked at her mother and sister before answering. "Ron, we are family. The family sticks together." A week later, Lucy asked me to teach her to drive. Let's see. Find myself in a car with a stunning Asian babe obeying my every command? Yes, I could do that. On the second day, I was already looking for driving schools. You know the stereotype that Asian women are bad drivers? Well, there is a reason for this stereotype. The way Lucy drove, I realized that the best drivers in the world live in Lucy's homeland because all the bad drivers are dead. The only thing Lucy slowed down for was McDonald's. Unfortunately, Lucy had to swerve across 3 lanes of traffic to get to McDonald's. I swear McDonald's stock went up after Lucy entered the country. The delight of watching Lucy surpassed the horror of driving Lucy. After a few weeks, I could no longer hold the doorknob with both hands. After the second month, I could breathe normally when Lucy drove onto the freeway. I admit that the lessons took longer than they could have, but I discovered that Lucy has brains as well as beauty. Like Pia, Lucy was a good conservationist and knew how to not only listen but also support her point of view. One day during our conversations while driving, Lucy really puzzled me. "Ron," Lucy said, looking straight ahead, "I have to tell you that my sister Pia is dumb as a horse's ass." "Wow, Lucy," I joked. "You can't talk about my future ex-wife like that." "That's what I'm talking about, Ron darling," Lucy continued. "I can't believe that Pia is going to give up her marriage to you for that guy from home." "Lucy," I said with more feeling than I felt, "your sister Pia and I had an understanding. It was beneficial for both of us." "Oh hell, Ron," Lucy retorted. "You love Pia, both Mom and I see it. I think Pia loves you, but doesn't know it. I told my sister that the day she throws you back into the pond, I will grab you and never let you go." With that, Lucy removed one hand from the steering wheel and ran her finger along my thigh, resting on my crotch. "Both hands on the steering wheel, Lucy," I barked. Lucy pulled her hand away from my groin and returned her hands to 2 and 10 o'clock. I adjusted the seat belt that was holding back my sudden erection. After a few moments of silence, Lucy spoke. "Sorry, Ron. I didn't mean to grab you. I had never been with a guy and wasn't sure how to behave. Mom kept me firmly under control. I just want everyone to know how things are." I relaxed before speaking. "Don't worry, Lucy. It's okay. Tell me how Pia took your claim of ownership. I don't think she cares. After all, she has Mr. Wonderful Fisherman at home." Lucy looked visibly relieved. "Ron, honey, my sister Pia freaked out when I told her I was coming for you. Pia acted as if I was going to take her virginity. We quarreled a lot. My mother even intervened. I was a little confused. Why does Pia care? I'm surprised she cares. Pia yearned for her fisherman at home, like a man dying of hunger yearns for food." Lucy clenched her jaw. "If I tell you something, you have to promise not to tell Pia." "I can't do this, Lucy. Your sister Pia is still my wife. I don't hide anything from her." Lucy's jaw dropped again. "Damn it, Ron. Then I can't tell you everything." We drove on for some time without saying anything. Finally, my curiosity got the better of me. "Fine. I promise not to tell Pia." "Now give it up," I said. Lucy pulled the car into the parking lot and obediently backed up, just as I had taught her. Ron, my sister Pia's boyfriend, returned home. A fisherman guy. He already has 2 children from 2 different women. They don't even know about each other. A damn sailor who has a girlfriend in every port. I had to laugh. "Wow, Lucy, this is big news. But you have to tell your sister. It's not fair to her." Lucy turned off the car. "Nobody knows anything about this, not even my mother. Plus, to make matters worse, the guy Pia wants to spend the rest of her life with. He doesn't mind spending a long night away from home on a boat full of guys. He is very popular among other fishermen." I slammed the dashboard with both hands. "Lucy, are you saying that he's gay? Play for both teams? This is too much." I stopped and thought for a moment. "Lucy, you have to tell Pia. You can't hide this from her. Is this just gossip, or do you have proof?" Lucy paused before answering. "I was doing an internship at a hospital when he brought a girl with a child. The child looked like him. He gave his name as his father. A month later, I was in another hospital. The same thing, but a different girl and child. I asked around. The girls live with their parents, and when he's not on a fishing boat, he lives in one house or another." Lucy turned away from me. "About the guy. He's not gay. He's just... Men are men, and they use what they can. There are no women on the fishing boat. He doesn't seem to mind. There are guys like him on every ship. That's common knowledge." Lucy shrugged. "Lucy," I looked straight at her, "you should tell your sister Pia." "No, Ron. Pia won't believe me. She is very stubborn. She still sees him as her sweetheart from her school days. It was a long time ago." Lucy stopped. She seemed to be lost in thought. After a while, Lucy spoke again. "Ron, I changed my mind. You can tell Pia if you want." Lucy started the car and started driving home. I was deep in thought. Should I tell Pia? Will she believe me? And if he believes, what will it mean? A light bulb went on in my head. Finally, I admitted to myself that I loved Pia, but I needed her to love me back. If I tell Pia about the fisherman Mr. Wonderful, Pia might stay with me, but only because I was a backup option. I know it sounds selfish, but I had to be number one in her mind if we wanted to be together. On the other hand, Lucy and I became quite close, and Lucy admitted that she had feelings for me. Maybe I should let Pia go, or is it just a case of the grass being always greener on the other side? The drive home was long, and Lucy and I didn't speak. Eventually, I came up with a plan. He was giving me what I thought was a win-win opportunity. I won't tell Pia what I know about her, Mr. Wonderful Fisherman. This would give Pia more time before we parted ways. If it's true that Pia loves me, I wanted to hear it from Pia. That's how I know she chose me and not Mr. Wonderful. If Pia still wanted a divorce, I would let her go and bet on her sister Lucy. I would tell Pia what I knew about Wonderful Mr. after we broke up. Then Pia herself will decide what to do. But I will not be in sight, and she will not be able to return to me. For the first time in a long time, I felt calm as we pulled into the driveway. I don't remember the house being this happy since my grandparents died. Lucy studied and spent a lot of time with me. Mom kept the house in a condition that would please a Marine camp sergeant, and the food made me fight to keep from gaining weight. Pia and I continued to grow closer. I caught her eye when she thought I wasn't looking, but I couldn't figure out what she was thinking. Was she preparing to move? Has she thought about her future life at home? Our relationship in the bedroom continued, and this did not give me any clues. The dinners were a great time, and I enjoyed lively conversations with the three ladies. Parties and weekend events were double the fun with Pia, Lucy, and their mom. There was little I could do, so I waited for Pia's sister Lucy to finish her test and asked my lawyer to prepare the divorce papers. Everything depended on Pia's next move. On the day of Lucy's big test, Pia was at home. Mom went shopping, and I worked from my office. Pia was upstairs in the bedroom, and I was downstairs. Pia came to the office and asked me to go to the bedroom. I thought I saw tears in her eyes. This must be the end, I thought. Big kiss. I figured Pia had waited until we were alone so I could save face. When I entered the bedroom, Pia was sitting on the bed. She was still beautiful, but she looked tired. On the bed next to her was an envelope addressed to Mr. Wonderful Fisherman. This was strange because Pia always tried to prevent me from seeing her read or write these letters. I sometimes received mail, so these letters were not a secret. I even knew in which box Pia kept her letters. It was an open secret. Pia would tell me what was in the letter or what she wrote if I asked. Now, looking back, I see that I first began to have real feelings for Pia when I stopped asking what was in the letters. "Ron," Pia began, taking a deep breath. I told him. Pia pointed to the letter on her bed. "I don't want to be his wife. I wish him good luck and good luck in his future and throw away all the old letters. I'm your wife if you want." "Why, Pia?" I asked. "Why now? What changed?" "Nothing changed. You changed me. You make me love you." Pia grabbed me into her arms. "Ron, I always knew you were a good person. Mom told me that I was a fool for letting you go. Then Lucy told me she wanted you. Now I see what everyone else sees." I pushed Pia aside. "Pia, staying with me because your mom said so or your sister wants me is not a very good reason. I'm not a toy you want just because your sister thinks I have some value." Pia shook her head. "No, Ron. Lucy made me see what was in front of my eyes. What you do for me, for the family, is what a real husband does out of love for his wife. Action all the time, and not..." Pia pointed to the envelope on the bed. "Beautiful words and promises on paper from afar. Pia, gratitude is good for pets, but it is not the basis for a lasting marriage," I told her. "When you agreed to help me, it was only gratitude, but now it's love," said Pia. "Of course, Pia. Since when?" I wasn't sure if Lucy hadn't told Pia about Mr. Wonderful at home, and I was the consolation prize. Pia sat back on the bed. Ron, now I know that I started loving you last year. I don't care if a letter arrives. Pia touched the envelope. When I sometimes don't answer letters or even feel awkward, I understand that it's because of you. I'm looking for time to spend together. I even think all the time about how to postpone the divorce. I know we don't have as much money as others, but we have each other. I will do my best to make you happy. Damn, Pia seemed sincere. Time to make a decision. I had to choose a path. I kissed Pia deeply. Pia then pulled me down onto the bed and began to pull down my pants. Now, Ron, I will give you what you should have had a long time ago. Pia whispered in my ear. Was it great earth-shattering sex with angels singing? No, not at all. We took our time and I was as gentle as I could, moving slowly to please Pia. After we were in the afterglow, Pia asked me if I could get her something cold to drink. I was standing in front of the refrigerator with the door open, trying not to let the cold air freeze my balls, when I heard the door to the kitchen open. I turned, an open can of soda in each hand, naked as a jaybird, to meet Lucy, Mom, and a group of students from Lucy's study group. It's hard to hide behind a can of Coca-Cola. I took a quick sip of my soda, then asked the assembled group of women, "How did the test go? Can I offer any of you a soda?" A University of Texas study found that romantically based marriages are doomed to fail because partners have unrealistic expectations for each other, and there is little room for improvement in the relationship. This largely explains the 50% divorce rate in America. I think since Pia and I had nowhere to go but up, we had a better chance than most. Next month, we will have been married for 21 years. Pia slowed down with the arrival of our 4 beautiful children. I think Pia now sleeps 5 hours a night. Between births, Pia managed to fulfill the requirements of the RN Commission, registered nurse, trans, and pass exams. She's been working as a head nurse at a local hospital for several years and terrifies young and old doctors who go beyond what is permitted. The whole family was at the ceremony downtown when Pia finally became a U.S. citizen. Her smile still lights up the room, and every day I love Pia more. I told Pia about my trust fund, but it didn't change our lifestyle. As our family grew, Pia bought Mr. Wilson's house next door and moved my mother there. The kids love that Grandma lives next door, and so do we. Lucy was constantly harassed when she started working, but she rarely went outside. Frequent trips to McDonald's led to her meeting, dating, and later marrying the manager. He was just another average person, just another faceless, run-of-the-mill, nice guy. When they filed their taxes for the first time after their wedding, Lucy discovered that he was not just a McDonald's manager, but the sole owner of a number of McDonald's franchises. With 3 children, they will have been married for 17 years this summer. Sometimes it's good to be ordinary. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one.